everyone, and I can hear myself, so yes, you should be able to hear me. Awesome. My name is Prashanth, as introduced, and I head developer advocacy for Google Cloud. I'm based out of India, but I take care of a few other regions around the world. And Ankit started off with something that he wanted to pump up the energy, make some bad jokes, challenge accepted. So let's start with something. Since I'm on the stage, recently there was Trevor Noah, who was supposed to perform here. A bunch of our folks were stuck in traffic. They couldn't make it on time. Anyone of you wanted to attend that show? Did anyone buy tickets? No? Yeah? Yeah. You would have realized when you went late and tried to attend the event, Trevor was nowhere to be found. Right? Okay. That's it for the bad jokes for today. Awesome. So, my talk is titled A Brave New World. How many of you, and this is DevFest, right? This is a fest for developers. How many of you here identify yourself as developers? Of course, right? Anyone that don't? So we have heard of people, right? When we talk to a lot of people, somehow they get a little perturbed by the word developer, right? For me, anyone that interacts with a program, with a computer, with a software, using code, say, is a developer. The other side of things is maybe, if you're a pure infra engineer and doing something there, right, where probably you're not on the developer spectrum. So it is not just a brave new world for all of us. It is a brave new world for all of us, but very specifically, it is a brave new world for all of us developers. Things are changing a lot these days, and we need to keep up to date with technology. So I'm just going to try and give you a glimpse of what I'm seeing in the world out there today. Right? And there's going to be a lot of talks that's happening today, and they will take you through more of the finer details. But just to whet your appetite, how many sessions are happening today across the 2 tracks, other than this keynote? Does anyone know a number? 6? 10? There are 15 sessions across both the tracks. 8 sessions in this track and 7 in the other one. If I'm not mistaken, if new sessions were added before I last looked at it, I'm not to be blamed. 7 out of those in this track, in K1, which is technically AI, cloud, and machine learning, but 7 out of the 8 sessions are about AI and Gen AI, right? So that's how popular AI and Gen AI is in the world today. 2 sessions, even in the other track, which is on Android, Flutter, Web, also have AI as part of it. So AI is becoming very important. As I said, it's a brave new world for developers. Oh, by the way, again, sorry, I have to make jokes. Brave New World, how many of you have heard of that song by Iron Maiden? This is a young audience. I need to date myself, okay. So it's interesting, right? I mean, just a perspective. Brave New World, it's an amazing song. Probably heard it in my 90s. Maybe the song was even before that. I'm not too sure. It talks about a brave new world, but Iron Maiden, being the band that they are, all of their caricature, their artwork is about monsters, right? And sort of got me thinking a little bit about as well, right? There's so much fear in the world about AI, what it can do, but it is a brave new world. It gives us a lot of opportunity to work with it and actually leverage AI and make things better for ourselves. So with that, a lot of talks today is about Gen AI. We are hearing Gen AI all over, and it is for a reason. Gen AI is absolutely transforming not just businesses, but the way we interact with technology. 13.2 million. Does this number ring a bell? Has anybody seen this number before, or do you know what this number represents? It's a part of, let's say, 500. The number that Ankit just used. 13.2, you want to go? No, 500 repositories. Who are the 500 folks here? Developers? Yes. We have, and this is stats released by GitHub, right? I've also linked to the blog. You can go read through it. 13.2 million developers from India have done something or are a part of GitHub in 23, as of 23. That's the number of developers that we have today. So let's go to developers in India, right? What are they doing? India, so this is the top 10 developer communities that have been there on GitHub for, let's say, 4 or 5 years now. And India, which is the second one there, probably not too clear from here, but it used to be third, and around about in 21, 22, we went ahead of China as the second largest developer community in the world. Okay? It's a really big deal. It shows what kind of a market we have and what we are heading towards. It's also important because the stronger developer community that we are, the more up-to-date we are with technologies, the more the world is going to focus on us. Right? The sooner we will start getting access to technologies, let's say before they're first launched in US, Europe, and other places. Right? People are looking forward to us. So it's a great opportunity to capitalize. And not just this, it is estimated by 2027 that we will become the largest developer community in the world. We will have the maximum number of developers in the world. Right? So the future is bright. Right? And there are a lot of things that are happening that we can capitalize on. This is a projection of how much content or how many repositories on Gen AI or using AI is being created on GitHub. Again, these are stats from GitHub, which have been published probably around November. So from 22 until, say, the mid of 23, there were 2x number of AI-related projects that were created on GitHub as compared to 22. So in just half a year, there were double the number of projects as of until the end of 22 that was created across the world, not just specifically India, but across the world. So this is here. There is a lot of, let's say, ideas, potential use cases on the world of Gen AI. And I'll be honest, right? A lot of things that I'm seeing out there feels a little, let's call it toyish, right? So how can we start leveraging the technology to build things that actually matter to all of us, right? And I'm hoping a lot of these sessions here give this perspective, right, to the rest of the day. A lot of sessions on AI, Gen AI, machine learning, and which is the core technology. But then, on the other side, you have how you actually take it out to the world with your applications that you're building. So use the knowledge that you get and come up with some inspiration so that we can actually build things that is useful, that people actually make use of. And then again, on Gen AI, among these projects that I mentioned, India has been the second largest contributor to creating these Gen AI projects, right? So we are definitely not behind. US is far ahead, but we can very easily catch up to them, right? If we put our creativity to it. Speaking of Gen AI, where do you think Gen AI is used, or how is Gen AI used? We have different ways of using some of these models, right? You have the open source models that you can install. You can run it on your workstations if you have really powerful workstations. But most of it is used on the cloud, right? As APIs or deploying it on infrastructure on the cloud. 69%, close to 70% of Gen AI usage is on the cloud, which means all the developers that are working on these technologies and many other technologies, right? Even if you look at web, you need a place to actually serve the applications, right? If you're building Android apps, you're building Flutter apps, you probably need some backend systems, you need databases, you need infrastructure to count on. And literally a huge amount of focus is going towards cloud these days, right? So cloud is becoming really, really important for all of us. And that's where I go into developer experience. We are probably used to a traditional mindset of working with technology, right? Of using technology. Many of us probably have started with, let's say, I don't know if any of you even use PCs these days, but yeah, back in my days, we used to have some nice little PCs that would heat up the room, eventually. So winters were always nice, warm and fuzzy. But it's your personal machines, right? Your laptops that you would use to do your learning, do your experimentation, and so on. But a lot of power today is on the cloud. And we have seen that it's actually not as easy for somebody with the traditional mindset of working on your own machines or working within your rooms, right? Or maybe even within your college computer labs to actually go into, start adopting cloud in the right way. So these are some things that we found, right? Generally, users on the cloud spend a lot of time doing onboarding, having to switch contexts, having to learn cloud services, finding some best practices, how to use the systems, right? So these are a lot of things that they're actually spending a lot of time on. And it's something that we had to solve for, right? For the developers. So what we felt, right? We can definitely, there is an opportunity, right? To design, build, deploy, and operate faster, better, and in a more effective way. This is what we all should strive to do, right? And we realize this is an opportunity for us to actually solve. Okay, so as developers, and again, I'm going back to a lot of surveys. These are public surveys out there, so I would recommend you, if you have not already seen. How many of you have seen the Stack Overflow survey for 23, or the JetBrains survey for 23, GitHub survey for 23? Have you gone across all that? No? Okay, few hands up. But again, I have the links here. So this is the one from JetBrains, the State of Developer Ecosystem in 23. Go through this, right? You'll understand some of the leading trends. And if you're looking for what do I do next, these are great ways for you to find out what you can be doing. So what do you think is the most time-consuming activity for a developer? What do they do the most? Fixing bugs, creating docs, I heard. The rest of you have not had breakfast. I can hear some murmuring, but... Sorry? Okay, it's either my ears are short or... Developers, of course, are going to spend a lot of time writing code. Did anybody say that? Ah, good. Thank you for actually doing that, right? So this is what most of the devs actually spend time on, right? Writing code. You spend a lot of time actually understanding others' code, right? You're not writing those small programs or how to use a binary tree and solve a problem, right? You're actually working on business problems, right? If you're doing this, once you go beyond your education. So writing code, understanding the code, and then of course figuring out how do I do something, right? Searching on the internet, debugging things that don't work. You spend a lot of time, and then some of the things you mentioned, right? Comments, documentation, then writing tests. This is where developers spend a lot of their time on. And then in the, let's say, last year and a half, has the AI capabilities have started being pulled into the development workflows, right? We have been giving some more capability to developers to allow them to do things more easily, more efficiently with AI. And of course, developers continue to write code, right? So where are developers actually using AI capabilities? They're using it for exactly those same things, writing code, debugging, documenting, and so on. What we've been seeing, and we don't have those stats here, but it's difficult to measure, but what we have been seeing is the productivity has increased by 35 to 40% for each developer. I'll give you an interesting anecdote. There were some discussions that I had with some developers some point of time where they said, I don't want to use this capability or this feature because that means I will write less number of lines of code per day or per week or per month. Do any of you feel that way? That if you get these AI tools, AI capabilities, you will actually write lesser code? No, hopefully not. Anyone does? You can close your face and lift your hand if you don't want to see who you are. No? Yeah? And, it's a good fear, right? It's something you need to be considered about. This is my point of view. You are going to be spending the same amount of time doing your development, doing your programming, doing your engineering. Instead of solving a single problem for a long time, you will solve the problem quickly and you will move on to solving more problems within the same time. That is the power that these kind of tools will help you with, right? It helps you be more productive, more efficient as you do your things. So definitely there's nothing to fear. It's actually here to help you, right? And realistically, they're not in a state right now where they can just do everything and get away with it. You have to manage them, right? It's sort of like a fresher or an intern that you're working with, that you're telling it, okay, this is how you do stuff. But then it does a lot of, let's say, some of the mundane things that you would do, and you can focus as a developer on solving business problems, right, in creating value. So these are some of the things, as I said, we are seeing, right? So close to 32.8, 33%, as I mentioned, I said 35, but 33% productivity increase using AI tools for developers. It helps you speed up learning. I used to have a line as part of my bio, right? I love learning languages. So we are Indians. Anyone speaks less than 5 languages? I don't think so, right? So we end up learning a lot of languages, as part of what we are, not just speaking only English or only other regional language. So I had this joke, running joke, where I love learning languages. So I do like learning, speaking languages. I also like programming languages, right? So probably any new language that comes in, I spend my time learning it. But then, so what the bio said was, I prefer the speaking language kind because there is no new language being created every month, like in the programming language world, right? And that's reality. You cannot spend time learning. The moment you learn one language, there's a new one that comes up, right? And what do you work on? What do you code on? it's such a pain. Rather, you would just want to solve the problem. So imagine that you had the AI-powered tools that will tell you, right? This is the functionality you want to execute. Tell me what do I need to do. Tell me the algorithm. I will write the syntax for it, right? Again, I am dating myself, but of course there was a point of time where I was doing my coding on notepads, the Windows notepad thingy. It was not an IDE. And when the first IDE, which was Eclipse, came about, I was like, I don't want to use Eclipse. It is telling me, when I press dot, it tells me what is the function that comes up after this, right? What is my value as a developer, It was very difficult to start with. But then you realize how soon you can solve problems, how efficiently you can solve problems, how quickly you can write your piece of code, right, and see the output by using these kind of technologies. And that is where it's coming up today as well, right? It helps you learn, it helps you be more productive, it helps you be more efficient. Okay, so as I said, those are the things that the market knows, right? There's a lot of research out there. And hence in Google, and this is what I'm really excited about, we have been building a lot of products of late, right? There are a lot of platforms, frameworks, technology for developers to use, right? So which is what we say for builders. And here I'm specifically talking about Google Cloud, right? For builders in Google Cloud on the world of Gen AI, we have what is Vertex AI. You can use this, you can get your Gen AI API keys, use whatever model that you want, right? Your multimodal, your text-based models, whatever thing that you want, you can get your API keys, you can deploy it, you can do your machine learning, build your pipelines. You can do every one of that using the platform. Here you are building for somebody else. What tools do you have that helps you as a developer, right? And that is what we realize, that we need to build that out as well, because it's very important from all the survey results that we've been seeing. And which is where I would like to introduce Duet AI. How many of you heard of Duet AI? Announcements in the past few days? Okay, about 30–40%. Clearly, we need to do a little bit more to make you more aware of Duet AI. But this is our answer to, or our offering to developers, right? Where we want to help developers in their development workflow. Now, this is something that we launched as Google Cloud. Again, how many of you have used Copilot from GitHub? Yeah? Exactly, right? And a lot of that stats also comes from Copilot, because definitely they've been in the market a lot before us. But then this is our, let's say, take on an AI-powered assistant. Not an AI-powered coding assistant, but an AI-powered assistant. And I'll talk to you what that is about. But for users, for developers, we now have Duet AI. Duet AI is something that will basically help you across your SDLC, right? Right from your designing your code, writing tests for your code, testing your code, deploying your code. If you're using Google Cloud as the infrastructure, it is also going to help you operate on top of that infrastructure, right? So it is not just a coding assistant, but it is there with you along your entire SDLC to help you around. So this is how we have thought about it. I won't go into too much detail. This is not going to, explaining to you what Duet AI is. There'll be a time and place for that. But this is how we've imagined it, and what I would love for you folks, and because we have thought that this is what developers need, right? So at some point of time, if you want to use it, if you want to try it out and give us some feedback, that will help us create more of these kind of tools and more efficient tools for developers. So that's Duet AI. And if you do want to start Duet AI, if you want to try it out, this is a QR. It is available for free for everyone to use until Feb 1st. So you can go ahead and use it. After that, there'll be some trials and other things that will let you know how that goes. We also have a training course available on Cloud Skills Boost, which is our online e-learning platform. So there are about 7 courses available there that you can go try out, right? So play around with it, see if this works for you, and please do give us the feedback. The other thing is, we are going to bring Duet AI to a city near you. We are doing a global roadshow. We will be covering over 12 cities in India itself, right? So Bangalore, of course, will be one. We'll be working very closely with your regional communities to bring access to Duet AI and help you understand what kind of capabilities Duet AI will do and how it can help you, become more efficient and more productive as a developer, as a programmer. So again, that's the QR, which is a landing page. Watch that space. As and when we start locking in dates, it'll be published on that page. And then let's see, we'll try to get you a little longer access to Duet as well, so that you can use it for a longer period of time and experience what it has to offer. So yeah, I'm really excited about all of this, because for us, 2024 is the year for developers. There are these amazing technologies that you can leverage. There are amazing tools that will help you leverage those technologies, right? So that is how we are thinking about it. And really excited to bring this to you, and would also like to know what more you would need so that we can work closely with all the GDGs and get these to you. Awesome. Final thing. This is a hackathon that is being running. It's a pan-India hackathon that is running called Build for Bharat. Google has been working, collaborating with ONDC, and ONDC is basically, they have about 16 e-commerce problem statements that they've defined, which can be solved using technology and using AI. So this is a hackathon that is being run in partnership with ONDC, and the last date for registering for this is Jan 5th. So do sign up for this. I can flex your developer muscles, try out what kind of problems that are there here, right? And what we're trying to do as part of the Build for Bharat and what ONDC's vision is to actually bring technology into e-commerce and make e-commerce more technically advanced and acceptable by folks all over India, right? So it is something that is being built for India. So try this out. I think as developers, I'm sure you folks would like to do this, So with that, I will end my talk, and let's get started with the other technical sessions of the day. So think about this. What are you going to build after going away from today on GenAI and Google? And I am Prashanth. I'm available on Twitter as KS Prashu. You can connect with me there. Search for me on LinkedIn with the name. I'm a South Indian. I have all the H's possible in my name. So yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that. And hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm going to be hanging around as well for most of the day, at least till late evening. So feel free to catch up if you want to talk about anything. Thank you so much.